Welcome to Child Abuse Awareness with Darlene J. Clark.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Child Abuse Awareness with Darlene J. Clark. Be a part of the solution instead of part of the problem. Hi there, Chris. It's good to see you as well again. Thanks for coming in. Hello there, our bucket list. Good to see you also. Yeah, please hit the like, subscribe, and share. I have to go ahead and do that. Please siren again because we coming for you. Mess with kids, we coming for you. In Matthew 18, verse 6, it says, "But whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and he were drowned in the depth of the sea." Fathers, do not embitter your children, or they will become discouraged. Yes, this is the little girl's father who we're going to speak of. This is the stepmother. And Isaiah 1:17, learn to do right, seek justice, defend the oppressed, take out the cause of the fatherless, plead the case of the widow. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. This is another hard case to go over. In Tatro, age 28, Tenika Draper, they're in Wellford, South Carolina. He got 50 years, and she was given 35 years. Two other people that are involved also is a step-grandmother, the victim's step-grandmother, and the victim's step-uncle. Without further ado, let's get this information out there. I appreciate you all. Take a deep breath because I know I'm going to get aggravated during some of this because some of these things had happened to me. And even though some of the things that didn't, it should not have ever happened. Wish he could kill her and get away with it. Dad who forced 8-year-old to take hypothermia baths made her kneel in wooden crates is sentenced. It's far worse than that, y'all. This was written October 22nd, 2025. We give law and crime credit for this. This is the dad, the 8-year-old's dad, who wanted to kill her, his daughter. A 28-year-old man in South Carolina would spend decades behind bars after admitting to to severely physically and emotionally abusing his 8-year-old daughter, who was regularly beaten, force fed feces and laxatives, starved, and constantly tormented in various ways. Do I have trigger warning marked up there? If I don't, I need to make sure to have it going across the screen down here, right? So we can't claim that innocence there because they done been found guilty. State Circuit Judge R. Keith Kelly on Monday ordered Ian Tatro to serve 50 years in a state correctional facility for the torturous treatment of his daughter. Court records reviewed by Law and Crime show Kelly handed down the sentence after Tatro pled guilty to 20 counts of unlawful neglect of a child as well as one count of obstruction of justice. I'm wondering why can't there be more prosecutions set, like making them eat bile, human waste. That right there is, yeah. The victim's stepmother, Tenika Draper, was sentenced last month to 35 years in prison after she pled guilty to the same spate as charges as Tatro. There she is right here, Tenika Draper. This is in Spartanburg County Sheriff's Office background. There's the courthouse right here. The cases against the couple's co-defendants, Trina Draper and Ryan Dezotelle, are still pending. Authorities identified Trina Draper as the victim's step-grandmother and Dezotelle as the victim's step-uncle. The amount of abuse this child suffered at the hands of adults who should have loved and cared for her is staggering. Seventh Circuit Solicitor Barry J. Barnett said in a statement, the abuse was not just physical abuse, but repeated psychological abuse. In one instance, prosecutors said Tatro even gave his daughter animal feces as a Christmas gift. The Greenville, South Carolina NBC affiliate WYFF reported. As Law and Crime previously reported, authorities on September 2nd, 2022, responded to a call from the Department of Social Services requesting assistance with a child abuse investigation. The Sheriff's Office said in an email to Law and Crime the Child Welfare Agency was alerted to the possibility of child abuse by an anonymous source. Upon arrival, deputies were informed by the DSS caseworker that she had been out to the home several previous times to investigate, but the adults at the home had hidden the victim from her, the sheriff's office said. Upon arriving at the home, deputies found 4 adults and 4 children. Deputies said the oldest child had a noticeable limp and temporary tattoos covering multiple visible bruises on both legs. The family members allegedly explained to deputies in separate interviews that they had recently moved down south from Vermont, Columbia, NBC, and CW affiliate WIS reported. The stepmother allegedly admitted to putting makeup on the child's legs in an effort to cover the bruises once child welfare agents started visiting the residence. The children were then taken into emergency protective custody by the DSS, the sheriff's office said, while the oldest boy was transported to a hospital due to the extent of the bruising and blood loss concerns. Wow. Okay, here's left to right. Here's how Tina looks with the, not the other color hair. This is how Brian, that's Trina Draper. That is the step grandmother, okay? This is Ryan Dezotelle, the step uncle. The victim was interviewed at the hospital by medical personnel and one of our SVU investigators. where more detailed information was discovered. The sheriff's office said, after that initial medical exam, the victim was evaluated again by a forensic doctor later last month, who stated the victim clearly met the criteria for a medical diagnosis of child torture. In forensic interviews at the Children's Advocacy Center, the victim gave detailed and credible disclosures of multiple instances of abuse by various means from all four adults in the home. All four! During court proceedings immediately following the arrest, prosecutors said that when the victim was rescued from the home, she said, "This is the best day of my life. Hooray!" I want to play that little sound over here, say hurrah. Let's see who wrote something. Hey, John Michael Landon, good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Yes, it is sad. And I'm going to put, this is the best day of my life, so I'm going to make a little sound there that's applause there. Okay. Back over there. Sorry about that. Prosecutors also said that Tatro forced the victim to consume animal feces and other disturbing things. He, Tatro, would give her gummy laxatives, and she thought it was candy because that's what he told her. Assistant Solicitor Tony Labert reportedly said during previous proceedings she would defecate on herself and she would have to clean it up, and he would make her wear pull ups at 8 years old. He said he wished her mother had vacuumed her out before she was born and wished he could kill her and get away with it. Once, when the child threw up, Tetra reportedly forced her to eat the vomit, prosecutors said. More direct physical abuse is also alleged to have occurred, including being sat on, being beaten with boards, cords, and frying pans, being forced to stand in a garbage can, being placed in hypothermia baths, being forced to stay in a closet for long periods of time and sleep there, and being forced to kneel inside wooden crates. The girl was not allowed to use a bathroom, prosecutors said, adding that she was forced to clean up her own waste and at least once had her face rubbed in the carpet when she failed to sufficiently cleanse the area. I know how that is, y'all, when my stepmom would force me out in the cow pasture and she would rub me and my twin sister our faces in cow manure. So I know how that is. That's why I said, like, this story resonates with me because a lot of times these people that later also do sexual deviant behavior, they do all kind of different things to make you conform, to make you afraid of them, for control. There's a lot of narcissistic behavior. Oh, John Michael will come and tell his story on here sometime. He is a great advocate, and I'm so proud of him. Say God bless each and every one of y'all. Thank you.